Hello everybody, it's Jen, Scrapbena Creations. I'm here to do a 10 card video using one paper pad. I'm using the Doodlebug At the Zoo paper pad, which is a new release for spring 2017. I'm going to supplement with the odds and ends die cut pack. It comes with 73 different die cut pieces. I'm going to try to use one of the animal die cuts on each of the cards, so we'll see how that goes. And the paper pad is adorable, so you get 24 double-sided pieces of paper. I've already split it in half so I could start organizing my card ideas. But as always with Doodlebug, the images are absolutely adorable. It comes with 3 different sheets with cut-aparts on it, so this is one of them. Here's another one here, so I'll see if I can use some of these sentiments. The panda bears are absolutely adorable. And the other cut apart is here. I don't think I'll be using anything from that in this video, but let's get started. So for card number 1, I am using the Giraffe die cuts, and I'm going to be making a shaker card. So I'm just using my Lawn Fawn stitch rectangle dies here to make a frame that I can use for the outside of the shaker. So I'm just going to use that outside frame part here, and I'm going to use some ATG adhesive here to adhere the acetate. Now I just use packaging. I like to upcycle, so this is just a not fancy used piece of packaging. Then I'm going to double up on my foam adhesive. I use 3M Scotch foam adhesive, and I find that the thickness of it is perfect. If you use one layer, it's very easy to get through the mail. So I'm just using my static tool here by EK Success to get rid of some of the static. I've already gone and doubled up the foam adhesive here, so now I'm just placing it around the frame. And then I'm going to work on filling my shaker pocket. So I'm using this adorable giraffe print paper on the back side. It was really cute as well. It had the 2 giraffes in a really adorable pattern, but there was something about this print that really spoke to me. So I'm going to use that for the back of my card panel. Just taking the stickiness off the foam adhesive, and now I'm going to fill it up. So I'm using some yellow stars, some thick gold glitter, which I put way too much in, but after it came out, I just went with it. I put some yellow sequins and some white sequins as well. So that's the basis of my shaker card. I'm just going to adhere the card base, and there's lots of glittery goodness in that. So now I'm going to work on the sentiment, and I'm just using a stamp that says welcome little one, and I'm using some Lawn Fawn ink here. I believe in dough, but don't quote me on that. I don't have them beside me. So the inspiration for this card was April the pregnant giraffe, and my sister-in-law was watching the online video hours upon hours, so I thought it would be pretty funny to send her a welcome baby card once the baby came, and actually she had the baby the day after I made this card, so this will be going in the mail to her. And I want to stamp on the inside finally, as if you've been waiting for this baby giraffe to arrive, you will know that it has been a long go. So just going to now adhere the sentiment banner at the bottom of the card to my card panel, and then I'm going to put the mama and baby giraffe directly on the acetate. And that will pretty much finish up card number 1 once I get those on. So this is the first time I've done cards using matching paper pads with the die cuts, And so I hope you guys enjoy this. I did find it to be a challenge, so that was fun. It's always fun to challenge yourself. Um, and yeah, I hope you guys like these. So moving on to card number 2, I'm using this adorable little monkey with the corresponding monkey paper, which is just too cute. That monkey's hanging all over the vines. Some of them have bananas in their hands. So I just cut out a stitched circle here, and this is going to be kind of my focal panel. And I've already gone ahead and I've manipulated this stamp that says hang in there. So this is from the Lawn Fawn stamp set with the same name. And I'm using the Lawn Fawn ink cube. This one is lawn. It has something to do with grass, green grass, fresh grass, mowed grass. So I'm using that. You can use any color of green you want. I'm using the little monkey die cut, and then I'm bringing in some other elements from the die cut pack. So I'm just going to place this down ever so gently because I know that I want to put these leaves behind the monkey. So I'm going to put 2, one on either side. And then I'm going to, once I get those in place, I'm going to put a banana in his hand. So just kind of threading that through so it looks like he's carrying the banana. And then I'm going to put my card panel, which is just the sheet of paper, onto my card base. And then just adhere that right to the card panel. I'm not going to be popping this one up. I just wanted a really nice flat card. So that's card number 2. I like how plain and simple these cards turned out, and they're still adorable because the paper and the die cuts are so cute. But I am just going to glitter that up with a little bit of Spectrum Noir glitter brush marker, and you can see there how glittery that is. So on to card number 3, I'm using the crocodile or alligator. I'm using a frame die from My Favorite Things Blueprints die. This is the number 29, and it just gives a nice scalloped border. I'm using a speech bubble die, and then I just used a an oval die here. Now this stamp is called Sunshine State that I'm using, and it is a Sweet Stamp Shop stamp. I purchased this at a local scrapbook store in Florida while I was visiting there. And so I stamped out the little sentiment that says "See you later," and I'm heat embossing that with clear embossing powder. And this paper is adorable. It has the alligator, it has a turtle, and a snake all repeated on the background paper, so you can use it with any 3 of those die cuts that come in the package. I chose to use the alligator because you'll see that I've kind of played on the little character. So it says "See you later," and then there's a picture of an alligator. So I thought this would be a pretty cute card to give to my parents who usually drive up to see us a couple times a year. We live about a 15-hour drive away from most of our family, and I thought this would be cute. I'm using this stinking cute stamp set for the inside, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment that says "Miss you already." So just a really adorable way to kind of say you're thinking about someone as maybe they're leaving from a great visit. So I just had this little piece of paper left over, so I'm going to just attach that to the inside of the card just to give it a little bit of decoration. For the most part, I left these cards blank on the inside because I didn't know how I was going to be using them. But this one I knew exactly what I wanted to do for the inside. So that's that card. Card number 4, I'm using the Panda, and I wanted to use both sides of this paper. So I wanted the little panda paper to be the focal point, but I wanted the leaf pattern to be the frame. So I'm using the rectangle stitch dies again. These are from Lawn Fawn. And then I'm going to turn that around, which is a perfect way to get use out of your paper. But I wanted to make sure that I covered up where those two met because the stitching as of flipping one around didn't line up. So I just cut out a black frame border to put in between those. So I'm going to very carefully use my ATG gun here to adhere this frame down. You want to make sure that you're holding the paper because it can rip with the ATG gun when it's in small, delicate pieces like that. Switch to my Tombow glue for the inside panel, and you could pop up this frame, which would look really cute. I decided to leave it as a one kind of, well, it's not one layer because it's multiple, but as a flat, non-dimensional card. So I really like how that pop of black just brings an extra element that draws your eye in to the Panda Bear paper. So then I'm going to work on the sentiment. This is a banner die, again from the Dynamics Blueprints 29 set. And I'm going to be using the My Favorite Things. And this is the Beast Friends stamp set. And I'm going to be stamping the sentiment, "Friends like you are rare." I thought that would be fitting and just really cute sentiment for a thinking of you or a friendship type card. So you could use any kind of sentiment here. You could use a happy birthday, thinking of you, it would all work. So I'm going to pop this up on dimensionals and some foam adhesive again, just so that the card does have a little bit of dimension. And as well, I'm going to pop up the little panda bear. So I want to glue down this little piece of, I guess it would be eucalyptus with a panda. And I just want to make sure that it's tucked kind of in behind, but yet still peeking out of the frame. And then going to put the little panda die cut on that as well. And that will be pretty much it for this card as well. I'm going to bring my Spectrum Noir glitter brush marker back just to do a little bit of accents on the panda's eyes. So moving on to card number 5, I'm using the lion. And so I'm going to be using this pattern paper that has the lion and the tiger on it. And it's really hard to get away from using the paper as a full panel for the card because it's so cute and you kind of want it to be the star of the show. But I wanted to do something different so that you guys didn't think I was doing the same thing over and over. So I'm cutting a strip to go down the left-hand side of the card. You saw there I used a scallop die to cut this piece out for my focal panel. It's a Sizzix die. You can use any kind of scallop die you might have on hand, or you could just use a straight circle if you don't have any scallops, but I thought it went well with his little mane. So I used some foam adhesive to pop him up, and then I thought I was going to use white, but then I wanted the banner to go more towards the right, and so it got lost on the white part of the card. So I switched that up to some orange here, which matched his mane. And I'm using a cut apart from the paper pad here. It just says, "No lion, you're great." So I'm going to put that on foam adhesive as well, just to pop that up, and my glue wasn't quite dry, so that moved a little bit. And that will pretty much finish up this card as well. I'm going to bring in some glitter enamel dots here just to add a little bit more sparkle to the card. So you could use sequins or Nuvo drops. I just had these gold glitter enamel dots on hand, so I decided to use them. I think it turned out pretty cute. So card number 6, I wanted to use a number of the images because this piece of pattern paper has all kinds of little critters on it. It's absolutely adorable. And I'm just showing that I used the stitched rectangle die, and I also ran my sentiment, well, my banner where my sentiment is going to be, through the die cut machine with the stitched rectangle die as well so that it would match. I'm using the Love You S'more stamp set from Lawn Fawn. Now I have cut the part that says s'more. I've cut the S off so that I can get more use out of this stamp set. So after putting a number of the little sentiment pieces together, it reads, "Everything is more fun with you." And so I'm going to heat emboss that with some clear embossing powder, and I'm going to get that nice and shiny so it sticks out on the card. And then I'm going to put the card panel down on the card base. I tend to work this way a lot, where I like to work on my actual card base. I just find sometimes it's easier. So here I'm adhering my sentiment banner or strip to the card, and now I'm going to play with trying to get these little animals in place. And you'll see I spend a bit of time trying to figure out how this is all going to work out, and I thought I had my placement, and then somehow I ended up moving these around where the tiger is now more in the middle than he is to the right, which kind of threw things off with the snake, but I think in the end it worked out and it looks pretty cute. So this is a really good example of how you can use a number of the die cuts for one card. I kind of chose a lot of the die cuts where I thought I wouldn't use them by themselves. So for example, the camel and the ostrich. So it made sense for me to put them on a card together. So moving on to card number 7, I'm using the zebra, and I'm using the zebra print, which I love. I just think this paper pad is so fun. Now I wanted to bring in some of the blue paper from the pad as well, just because that background paper is very busy, and because the zebra is black and white as well, I wanted to make sure that I had something separating the die cut from the back panel. So because I'm using a panel here, this is a 3x4 journaling card die from Lawn Fawn. It has rounded edges, so I wanted to round a couple of the edges on the card. I'm going to be using the stamp set from Lawn Fawn there, Happy Camper, I believe it's called. And so I'm using the sentiment, "You Drive Me Wild," which I thought was cute, and went with the wild animal motif here of being at the zoo. So I'm just using some fun foam here to make sure that this panel is nice and supported. And then I'm going to use that sentiment, and I want to make sure that the piece that is overhanging is also got some fun foam on it so that it matches the height of the blue panel journaling card that I'm using. And then I am going to put the die cut zebra behind the sentiment. And of course I'm dropping this and trying to be careful because it has glue on it. So I'm just trying to do placement here, figuring out where I actually want this to go. I want to be able to see some of the blue peeking out from the bottom of the sentiment, and then I'm just lining up the zebra. And after that, I'm going to bring the Wink of Stella back to put a little bit of, not Wink of Stella, I'm using my Spectrum Red Glitter Brush Marker. And then I'm using these enamel dots. I thought the stars would be pretty cute. And because they're a bit of a lighter blue than the blue on the card, I'm going to bring those blue circle enamel dots on the right hand of the package there in as well, because it matches the darker blue of the journaling card a little bit better. So it just balances out the lighter blue with the darker blue, so it matches. And then now we're going to move on to card number 8. So for card number 8, there was this adorable pattern paper that is literally like a map that you would get at a zoo or a theme park that kind of shows you where all the different animals are. And so I decided to focus on the little section where there were some water animals. So the polar bear, the seal, and the penguin. Because I thought I'm not going to use this die cut for anything else. So let's just see if I can make a card work for this. So this card is a 5.5 by 5.5 square card so that it would fit the die cuts. I'm using foam adhesive for all of the little images, and this one I really didn't kind of have a plan in mind. So you'll see here I play around with this a little bit. I put this little guy down and then it wasn't in the right place, so I just moved him over a tad bit. And from there I'm trying to figure out if I want to use a sentiment from the paper pad, so I chose one that just says just for you. And I was trying to figure out where I wanted this. I didn't want it to get lost on the back, so I decided to put it here. Now, normally I would have put a banner on the top right, but you'll see at the very top right, it's the only kind of clear, crisp image of kind of what I was sort of recreating with the die cut. So I didn't want to cover that up. So that kind of complicated things for me a little bit. So I decided just to put it over the waterfall, and I think that's fine. I'll probably use this as a child's card, so they're not really going to care. So then I decided to put the fish in the penguin's hand, and I'm using some glitter here on the water just to add some more flair to the card. And then I thought I should probably do 3 fish, one for each of the animals. So I've got one now behind the polar bear, and then I'm going to put one behind the seal sticking out, because things in threes tend to be more appealing to the eye. So in the end, I think that card turned out pretty cute, and it allowed me to use some of the die cuts that I may not have been able to use. So on to the next card, and this card I am going to be focusing on the little koala bear. So this is card number 9, and I didn't quite get it lined up, so I'm just going to trim a bit of the card off, and I'm going to use a strip of the leaf paper just to bring in some of that green so that it highlights the green from the little eucalyptus tree that the koala is sitting in. So I'm going to use this banner die, and then I'm going to use a sentiment from the Cuddly Koalas stamp set from My Favorite Things. And it says, "You're a koality friend," which I thought was adorable. So I think this is going to make just a really cute friendship card. So I'm trying to figure out how I want that banner sentiment to be placed on the card. I'm going to trim that up, and then I'm going to use some foam adhesive for the koala. Make sure he's got lots of foam there so that he doesn't get bent in the mail. And then I'm going to try to move it as far right as I can, so that the tree is still covering the 2 different pieces of paper, but that it's over to the center as far as possible. So then I'm just adding some green sequins to this card to finish it up, and a little bit of glitter on his nose and on the leaves. So moving on to the last card, card number 10, I decided to use the gorilla and this adorable paper that again has a number of the little critters on it. So I'm using some fun foam here as the background, or to kind of ground the panel. And then I'm going to use a stitched circle die, and I'm going to run that through my die cut with the foam. I put it through like about 3 or 4 times just to make it cut all the way through, because I want to make a peekaboo window. Now, I meant to lay down my back piece of cardstock before I put this down, and I forgot, but that's okay. I'm going to just take the cardstock. You see me there, I just realized. So I'm going to take the cardstock and I'm going to cut out the circle and just adhere it in there. So no big deal. It worked out fine in the end. And so I'm going to use one piece of foam tape to just pop up the head of the gorilla, but I'm going to be just gluing his body straight to the cardstock. Just gives a little bit of a different look. Now I'm using this Just For You label die. This is a Lawn Fawn, and I'm using the Stinkin' Cute stamp set from Simon Says Stamp Again. And this sentiment just says Stinkin' Cute, which I thought was fitting for this adorable little gorilla and would make a good any occasion card. So those are always great to have on hand. But again, you could use any kind of sentiment that you had. It could be a birthday, or thinking of you, or anything. Now I'm using this Martha Stewart heart punch just to add some hearts around the sentiment. So again, using 3 here, and then just using some glitter to give him a lot of fun and something extra. So you see quite a lot of glitter came out, and so he's quite the glittery gorilla. But yeah, so I think I'm happy with how these turned out. As I said, it was definitely a challenge using die cuts on cards for me, but it was fun, and I enjoyed making these cards for you, and I hope they gave you some inspiration on how you can use one paper pad and one set of, one package of die cuts to make a number of cards. I have a ton of die cuts left over and a lot of paper left over, so I could very easily make another 10 cards or more, no problem. So now we'll just move into the still photos, and please let me know which one was your favorite. It's always fun to read in the comments which ones you guys liked the most. And also let me know if you like this kind of video, because I do have 2 more packs of die cuts and matching paper pads from Doodlebug, the dragon tails and the fairy tales. So if you'd like to see me do something like this again, let me know. Also let me know if you would want to see more kind of stamps involved, if that's something that interests you. But yeah, so thanks everybody for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you all soon in the next video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't. Take care. Bye.